welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, Nick beside me, Dave bottom left, Will bottom right, and we are ready to break down some Wednesday sports. Yes, the show is back. Basically, days when we have a slate like this where there just has to be a show, we'll do a show, but it's not going to be on a scheduled basis. Free pick videos will continue to come out daily, so there'll always be content on the channel, but we might not really do these shows daily, just see how it goes. But going to do one today because we have 15 hockey games that are absolutely amazing. Well, some of them obviously, not all 15. But we also have other sports as well, if anybody wants to give out any other picks. But we'll just jump right into it here with the first 5 games. So I was broken this into 3 segments because there's 15 games on today. So we will go through the 3 groupings. I will start Nashville-Detroit. I was leaning with the over. I was leaning with Nashville. But ultimately, I am not pulling the trigger on anything in this game. The price is better to bet Nashville now. The price is better to bet the over now. But I don't know. It was ultimately just a lean to start with. And then ultimately, after going through all my picks and realizing how much I like on today's slate, I figured just leans for me in that one. So ultimately, lean with Nashville, lean with the over, but no play. Montreal and Columbus. I gave this as I did a free pick video for this on this channel on Picks and Parlays. On the site, I also have this as my free play of the day on Picks and Parlays, and it's one of my favorite plays of the day. Montreal, Columbus, over 6.5. Columbus has gone over in 14 of their 18 games this year. So 4 games they did not go over. And I think 2 of those games had 6 goals. So they were incredibly close to going over. Columbus does not have goaltending. Their defense is bad, but they are able to score some goals. Montreal, I was not on the right side backing them yesterday, but I was on the right side with the over because they are an over team. When these 2 teams have faced each other, 7 of the last 10 meetings in Columbus have gone over 6.5. This is an over spot for me. I love the over 6.5 in Montreal, Columbus. Arizona, Carolina. I see Arizona plus 2.5 still up there. That's been the way I've been looking sidewise. Haven't pulled the trigger on anything sidewise, but I am on the under 6. Happy to see Vejmelka confirmed for Arizona. It'll be Antti Ranta for Carolina. I think this is a boring, low-scoring game. If you watch the free pick video, the last 3 meetings between these 2 teams in Carolina have gone under 3.5. So I'll take these 6. And then when you're looking at what both these teams are doing, Arizona's only gone over 6 in 1 of their last 7. And 6 of Carolina's last 8 have gone under 5.5. So both teams are playing under. Love the under 6 there. Looking at the Yotes. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And I've been looking at them since yesterday, and I've been looking over this. We'll see what happens before game time. Nick is trying to convince me. Plus 322 would be a really nice cash, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to pull the trigger on that yet. Winnipeg, Minnesota. I am not on the Wild to win this game. But they are 6-1 in their last 7 at home against Winnipeg. They are 8-2 in the last 10. They've won by 2+ in 5 of those games. They've absolutely dominated Winnipeg and Minnesota. I will be watching the game as a fan, but I do have one bet, and that is Sam Steele to score a plus 400. He scored in his last game on the top line with Kaprizov. He's still on the top line, and I think plus 400, which I got at Bet365, is a little bit crazy for a top line player who played extremely well in his first game playing with Kaprizov and Zuccarello. So Sam Steele plus 400, but I don't have any bets on the side. Maybe I'll look at it live, but ultimately nothing. Calgary, Pittsburgh. I was looking at Calgary. I was planning on taking Calgary in this game. 4-0-2 in their last 6 in Pittsburgh, 4-1 in their last 5. But Pittsburgh 5-1-1 in their last 7. They're playing pretty well right now. And the fact that Vladar is in net for Calgary ultimately is keeping me off taking Calgary. So the game is ultimately a pass because I don't like to switch sides. So if I'm looking at Calgary, if looking at betting Calgary, yes, the goaltending news is what it is, but I'm not going to kind of look at Pittsburgh later on and switch sides, especially when the price was better for Pittsburgh yesterday. So ultimately, that game is a pass for me. Nick, first 5 games, what do you think?
Yeah, Nashville, Detroit. I did get in on Nashville earlier this morning, and I believe the line's gone against me because it's going to be Kevin Lankinen in net and not UC Saro. So that's why the line, wow, it's plus 113 now. So I definitely did not beat a line movement on that one there. It is going to be Lankinen, but there is a chance it could be Nedeljkovic as well. So this could be a really interesting matchup of backup goaltenders. Like this game may go over as well, but I am on Nashville. In that first game, Montreal, Columbus. I believe I mentioned this on the Buffalo Montreal game that I don't see that much of a difference between Montembeault and Allen. I really don't. And in the metrics I use, they're actually pretty close. I believe they're like 0.05 difference, like very minimal. And Montembeault has been good this year, and I have the Canadiens projected to win this game on my model. So I end up taking plus 103 of Montreal in this game, even on a second half of a back-to-back. And honestly, I know people are going to be like, wow, they just lost 7-2 to Buffalo last night. There's no way you can back. Absolutely, you can back them. And I love backing teams when they got the shit kicked out of them like the last game. That's definitely something where public perception is going to be very negative on that team and things along those lines where you can get a nice little price. I think Montreal is the look in that game. I took Montreal at plus 103. And then Carolina and Arizona, we're gonna go howling here. I took plus 305 with Arizona. I did. I pulled the trigger on it. I also took because I do agree with the under, so I'm on the under 6, and that also led me on to a play with which I'm happy you said, with the under 3.5 the last few times because I got the under 3.5 team total for the Carolina Hurricanes at a juicy plus 135. Give me a Korovac-Melka masterclass here where he sees 43 shots and stops 42 of them, and they win 2-1 in this game. Something along those lines. So I see a low-scoring type of game that could have the feel of a game that Arizona steals. So that's where I'm on for that one. Winnipeg and Minnesota. Winnipeg's been a team I've been backing a lot lately because my model really likes the high-end goaltenders, the projected really well goaltenders. And Connor Hellebuyck in Winnipeg has quietly had a top 5 season in the NHL right now. And if I had to vote on Vezina goalies, he's probably one of the top 3 I would vote for right now. He's having a quiet Vezina caliber season, along with Carter Hart, who's another one that he's slowed down a little bit as of late, but he started off really well. So I'm on Winnipeg here. I got their team total over 2.5 because they are a nice juicy dog, and plus 140 with Winnipeg is just a price I just could not pass up there. I have them projected to win this game. And then Calgary, Pittsburgh. I got in on Pittsburgh at minus 119. They are now minus 127. I like the news that Vladar is going to be starting because I liked Pittsburgh even with Markstrom projected as the goaltender for the matchup. So I end up backing Pittsburgh there at minus 119. I like it even more with Vladar in net.
All right. Dave, 5 games, the first 5 games of the slate. What do you think?
Yeah, Predators, hashtag me too, and the Boots. Don't care about that game. Montreal Blue Jackets pass. Arizona, I will be putting a half a unit on Arizona just because they're a big dog, and I like to shout out Coyote Cock. The next game is my favorite game, probably my favorite game in any sport. Winnipeg and Minnesota. Not because I have to bet the half unit that I'm going to on the Wild, which I will, but to offset that for a winning bet, I'm going to bet the under in the game for a couple reasons. Last 10 games, Winnipeg, 2.8 goals per game. Last 10 games, Minnesota, 2.2 goals per game. On the other side, Hellebuck, he's talked to Connor Hellebuck. Nick talked about him, 0.935 save percentage. And then Philippe Gustafsson this past month has been talking about quiet goalies, 9.28 save percentage in the month of November. 6 is a low number for a reason. It was juiced to the over last night. Now it's juiced to the under, and for good reason. So I like the under in that game. And then Calgary, Pittsburgh. No opinion on the March of the Penguins and the Flames of Calgary.
Well, if you have Fire and you have Penguins, I think Fire probably wins.
No, you remember nothing can get to the Penguins. They're 80 miles inland, huddled up, incubating the eggs. And actually, the females, they travel 80 miles to go get food and come back. We've been over this before.
All right. Will, the first 5 games on the slate. What do you think here?
Yeah. So Nashville, Detroit, I have that as a draw. I play third units on these so that you can win about 1 unit because they're mostly plus 300 or better. Montreal, Columbus, I'll keep it quick. I agree with Nick. Montreal, I got them plus 105. I just don't really understand why they're dogs here. I would have played them at minus 110. Last 10 games, I have it at 8.5 goals. So maybe an overplay like Terry said as well. Arizona, Carolina, I'm on Arizona plus 305 with Nick as well. Just it's a bad price. I don't like that it's the 8th game of a road trip, but sometimes you got to play spots you don't love. I'm on the Jets plus 140. Love that Hellebuck's in net. I do like that Gustafsson is in net, even though he's been playing well. Last 10 games, I have this projected for 2.96 goals. So I might even play an alt under here. And then Calgary, Pittsburgh, I lean Pittsburgh, but I would only play it at minus 120.
All right. For when you said about the Columbus game, the only reason I can see Columbus being favored, and I don't even think it's correct, but the only logical explanation is they're at home. Montreal's on a back-to-back, and Columbus has won 8 of their last 9 at home against Montreal. So they have definitely owned Montreal in the past. So that's probably the only reason I could see them being at that price. But I would never bet Columbus at minus 120.
I will say my model has not liked Columbus, and Columbus at home has been beating it lately. So I am interested to see how Montreal plays tonight.
If I'm ever going to take Columbus, I need plus 130 or higher for me. Just being the team that they are. But everyone's different. And I know there are people out there that are on Columbus. So moving on to the second 5 games, we do have another one of my favorite. Well, the next 2 are my favorite games of the day. Toronto and New Jersey. Plus 123 for Toronto. The best price you can get on New Jersey, minus 130. I got New Jersey at minus 120 yesterday. Toronto has major injuries with defense. Their top 3 defensemen are all out. TJ Brody, Morgan Riley, and I'm blanking on the third one.
Muzzin?
Muzzin, yeah, Jake Muzzin. They're all out. Morgan Riley long-term, that's really going to hurt Toronto. He is their power play specialist defenseman. He is their top ice time defenseman. He is out. New Jersey, playing good defense all year long, on a 13-game winning streak, will break the franchise record of 13 if they win tonight. Yes, they did just face this Toronto team a few games ago. And yes, Toronto has owned New Jersey in the past, but Calgary owned New Jersey in the past. New Jersey won both meetings against them. This Devils team is just different, and I have to continue to back them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Devils winning for me game after game. Toronto, not in a good spot here. Give me the Devils money line. Yes, it's minus 130 now, the best price you can get for it. I would still bet it at minus 130. Boston and Florida. Boston, an underdog. Why? I don't know. But they've been an underdog on their winning streak, and I've bet them. They have owned Florida, 5-1-1 in the last 7 meetings against Florida, 3-1 the last 4 games in Florida. Boston is winning every game they're playing by multiple goals. I'm on Boston money line, which I got at -105, and I will be sprinkling after the show on Boston -1.5. Yes, Spencer Knight is in net. Yes, I don't really like to fade Spencer Knight, but this Bruins team is just the best team in the NHL.
Which I found plus 200, by the way. Plus 200.
Sorry, what?
Bruins -1.5 is plus 200, I found.
Yeah, that's just amazing odds for a team that is continuously they've won 7 games in a row, and all 7 have been by 2 or more. They've owned this Florida team in the past. Florida won 3-1 in their last 5. Give me Boston money line. Give me Boston -1.5. St. Louis at Buffalo. Faded Buffalo yesterday. Not a good idea. I'm fading Buffalo again tonight. We'll see if it's a good idea tonight. Not a good spot for Buffalo. Second night of back-to-back. Blues rested, winning games. As much as it hurts me to bet on the Blues. I'm on the Blues -1.5 to take care of business against the Sabres.
Give you the Blues.
Yeah, I think the Sabres will. Well, Sabres don't really sing, but they'll be feeling the Blues after this game. But Philly, Washington, no thanks. We have a huge slate of games today, and Philly, Washington is a great one that you can just cross right off. No need to bet in that game, but I'm sure Nick will have a play in that game because I'm saying that. Two, awesome. So of course, makes sense. Edmonton, New York Islanders. I'm taking the Islanders. I think they're the better team right now, playing well at home here. I do want to see if the confirmed goaltenders have been announced for this game. All right?
Sorokin.
Yeah, Sorokin's confirmed, but I've heard that I'm trying to get it up here. My computer is not being. I heard it could be. I don't know why it's not working.
Nothing confirmed for Edmonton. Skinner is projected.
Yeah, so it could be Campbell, it could be Skinner. Apparently, Campbell will not miss any time after breaking his nose, so he could very well play in this game. Obviously, I'd rather have Campbell because he has not been too good lately. But regardless, I like the Islanders here. Backing Nick's team doesn't usually go too well for me, but we'll see what happens tonight. Nick, second 5 games on the slate. What do you think here?
Yeah, Toronto and New Jersey. Toronto did not get up to my desired price to back them, which I said was going to be $1.35, $1.40. They maxed out at around, I want to say that 130-ish mark at one point, and then I went right back down to 125. So unfortunately, couldn't get the price I wanted on Toronto. So to stay off for the side, if that went all the way back down to a pick'em, I would take New Jersey. But I did take the under 6.5 in this game, and I'm mad I waited because I got -113 instead of the plus price tag yesterday on that game, hoping for a 7, which didn't happen. So I do think that this is a spot here where we could see a little bit of a lower scoring game. I had it projected for 5.8 goals, so under 6.5 New Jersey and Toronto. Florida and Boston. I am also on Boston in this game. Makes me a little bit nervous that I originally had Bobrovsky and Swayman projected, and it's Knight. I'm hoping they go with Ullmark. I don't know if they will. If they go with Ullmark, I'll be a little bit more confident on this play. It's probably one of my least confident plays now, looking at what my model is projecting, because it's now basically right on with the odds. But I do have Boston in the under. It does make me nervous that if Swayman does go, even though Swayman can be good at times. So I am on Boston in the under in that game. I stayed off of St. Louis Buffalo. I had that game actually projected pretty close. I think that line jumped up a little bit for earlier today and came right back. Had some buyback on Buffalo. I think Buffalo could be a live dog in this game, to be completely honest. And I'm somebody who was super high on the Blues heading into the season. And I'm happy of the way that the Blues have been playing as of late. They're finally starting to catch their footing. I believe they're either in a playoff spot right now or they're a point out of a playoff spot after losing 8 games in a row. They're now right back in it. So this Blues team is definitely a bet on team going forward. I just don't see the value in it tonight, laying $1.45 on the road. So that ended up being a pass game for me. Terry's favorite matchup of the day, Philadelphia, Washington. He sounded super excited back this game. I got to the under in this game, under 6, and I got to the Washington team total under 3.5. This Washington team offensively has not been that great, especially since they lost TJ Oshie. Now, once they get Oshie and once they get Tom Wilson back, and they're missing a couple other players, I think Washington is a bet-on team when they get fully healthy. Like, they're a team that could compete for a wild card spot or a top 3 spot in the Metro Division when completely healthy. So Washington's definitely a team to watch out for. When they're this banged up still, there's no way in hell you're laying more than $2 on them here. And that created a really nice opportunity for me to take a team total under Washington, especially with Carter Hart. Still a goalie I like backing, even though he's regressed a little bit. He still has some really good numbers this season. So team total under for the Capitals, full game under as well. And then I did back the New York Islanders. I think this is a bet-on team going forward as well. Sorokin is looking like someone that I predicted in the beginning of the season within the next 5 years is going to have a Vezina trophy. I think he is a top 3, if not top 2 goaltender in the NHL right now. So Sorokin is definitely someone I'm looking to back with the Islanders. And even if it was Varlamov is a serviceable backup. So the Islanders have a really good duo here. They're a team that I think we can have value on betting down the stretch because not many people like the New York Islanders. They remember what they saw last year. And this Islanders team, you got to keep in mind, previous to that fluky year last year, they made the semifinals back-to-back years. So this is still a very good hockey team. Granted, Edmonton's a very good hockey team as well. They're a little top-heavy, the Oilers, I would have to say. But I also played the under 6.5, which I love with Sorokin in net. It will make me nervous if Campbell is in net and with that under 6.5. But it is what it is. I think this is a low-scoring Islanders win on that last game there.
Awesome. Dave, second set of 5 games. What do you think?
Yeah, there are a lot of games today. That doesn't mean that, you guys have all different angles than I do. I think the prices suck. A lot of teams, the team totals that I'm looking at, teams that are ripping it, they're set at 4 and 4.5 and juiced all to high hell at 3.5. And these games, the only game to me, the 2 games that look palatable for a side is the Devils, Maple Leafs, and the Oilers, Islanders. But here's the deal. New Jersey's supposed to be one of the best teams, one of the hottest teams. That line looks weird because they're at home and it's a palatable price. Whenever I see that in any sport, I'm thinking the other way every time. Didn't dive into it though. And then I'd probably, I think that's a good price for the Islanders. Again, didn't dive into it too much. Not a team that I've watched a lot. I kind of have to take things. I have to do the eye test before I really jump in. It's not one of the teams that I have, but the price looks good. Boston, you said Boston minus 1.5 is plus 200.
Yep. That's
strange to me too, because they're another team that's really good and Florida's kind of whatever. But, you guys tell me that sounds great. All this sounds fishy. Either the lines look really bad or they're fishy to me.
One thing I will put towards that Boston line is that Florida is one of the best home teams in hockey. So okay. I think that's probably baked into the line there that we've known from previous years, including a little bit this year as well. Florida is a wagon at home.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's a long way of saying I have no interest in this, but as I'm learning and progressing in hockey capping, today stinks to me. And there's a lot of games, but there's just not a lot of angles except for the Wild game. That was the one that jumped out at me. So I have nothing in these games, just interest to kind of see. I'm writing down the lines where they're at now, and I'm going to see the results because I bet you, Maple Leafs probably win. The Boston game's probably a 1-goal game. Terry, I know I like the Devils, but isn't it fishy to you that's one of the best teams is at home and you can play them on the money line?
Dave, I hear what you're saying, and all I would respond is the last about 10 Devils lines have been fishy. Then
they've all been like that.
Okay,
it's like, and I think the New Jersey Devils
a little bit different than the NFL because the lines just aren't as efficient.
I got a good comparison for the Devils right now. It's the TCU Horned Frogs in football. How we keep thinking every single week it's a weird line for them, and they're going to follow finally. They're going to lose that game, and they win. That's what the Devils are right now. Every line feels really weird with them, and they still find a way to win one of those
And
games.
if the Maple Leafs win tonight, there will be people out there who say plus 100 or plus 115 was a lock, but in reality, they've lost the last 6 games because the Devils these lines have been popping up for a week or two now, I would say.
All right.
Another thing is New Jersey and Boston. People still don't think they're for real. If you look at what New Jersey did last year, they were not a good team.
28th in hockey. Yeah.
Now they've hugely improved. So they're still not going to be price correct until I don't know until when, but yeah,
They could be the Kings of
Boston's
last
been
year.
a dog
They
numerous
continue getting
times
this
this year, and they shouldn't be. So, but yeah, Will,
right.
what do you think? Next 5 games.
Yeah, so start with Devils Toronto, and I actually was only going to play this if the Devils got to minus 130, but it's here, and I'm ready to play it. The Devils are 8-0 for me in November, and I'm just going to keep riding it until it says otherwise. It's only a 4% edge, but I have the line at minus 147 fair, so I'm ready to play it. Boston, Florida, I have about a 12.5% edge on Boston. I have this fair line at about minus 180. I know that's a little bit crazy. I'd probably bring it down a little bit with Swayman in net now. But I still have it about a goal and a half difference. And I'm fine backing the Bruins money line at minus 105 or minus 110. St. Louis, Buffalo, I have nothing here. I have the fair line at 150 for both sides. I'm interested to see if the Blues are for real. They won 3 games to start the year. I believe they've lost 7 or 8 straight. Yeah. And now they've won 7 straight. So a easy win against Buffalo would say a lot to me about this team. Philadelphia, Washington, I have the Flyers plus 205 tonight. I just think Washington's a bit overrated with this number and the injuries they have. Now, as Nick said, if those guys were in the lineup tonight, I would not be taking this number. As for the Oilers, Islanders, I'm on the Islanders money line. I think the Oilers are overrated. They will win some nights with those 2 guys. But if you watch these games, 97 and 29 are in on every goal, and you can't win hockey like that. So I'm going to take the Islanders minus 120 tonight.
All right. The one thing I did want to say earlier to something Nick said with the Blues, how there's no value when they're at minus 140 on. I took them at plus 170 in the puck line. So I see a huge lot of value because I don't think a Blues puck line plus 170. I don't think you're going to get that very often.
No.
So I saw value in that play. But yeah, on the money line minus 140, I want to touch that for sure. And then Will, what you just said about Edmonton and Islanders, I agree. Islanders are a very good defensive team. So all they really have to do is focus on McDavid. Okay, obviously it's very hard to focus on McDavid and Draisaitl. So saying all they need to do makes it sound easier than it is. But if they just focus on those 2 guys, they have a very good chance to win. And as a defensive team, they should be able to attempt to do that.
And both their goalies are better. So the Islanders, Pick'em is surprising to me when it opened.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the final 5 games of the night. Chicago, Dallas. Yuck. The price. That's what I'm saying. Yuck is the price. Dallas obviously minus 300. Home favorites. If you're taking them on the puck line, that's minus 110. I like Dallas in this game, but I don't like the price. So I'm ultimately priced out of it. San Jose and Seattle. I have Seattle money line in my parlay. I will give out the parlay at the end here in the pick section, which will round up all of our picks that we're giving out at the end. So I will have Seattle money line in a parlay, but minus 167 on the money line isn't something I'm going to bet singly. And despite it being the Sharks and despite Seattle being pretty good, 3-1 last year against the Sharks, I don't want to take them on the puck line. But I like Barton Jones against his former team. I think he comes to play here against the Sharks. And I love the way Seattle's been playing, and they're rested. So I like Seattle in this spot. Ottawa and Vegas. I took Vegas on the puck line at plus 110. Perfect team. Vegas obviously started phenomenally to the season. 2-2-1 in their last 5, which is kind of slowing down for what they were doing previously. But what a great team to face here. The road-weary Ottawa Senators, 1-4-1 on the road. They've lost 3 of their last 4 in Vegas. Ottawa 2-9-1 in their last 12 games. They've lost by 2 or more in 6 of 10. They've allowed 4+ goals in 9 of their last 12 games. I wouldn't talk anybody off looking at Vegas team total. I'm on Vegas puck line. I think they take care of the Senators at home. New York Rangers, Anaheim, a game that I'm passing on. Halak should be in net. John Gibson will be in net for Anaheim. Kind of lean to the over, but I don't want to take a 6.5, especially with the Ducks, who have been going under lately. The Ducks games have been going under lately, and if this was a 6 at a good price, maybe I'd be looking at it, but not at a 6.5. And then Vancouver, Colorado. As much as this makes me sick to say, because I hate the Colorado Avalanche, and I haven't really backed them very much this year, I'm on Colorado puck line. I think they take care of the Canucks here in this game. They have been winning convincingly. Vancouver is going with Spencer Martin instead of Demko, which is actually an improvement this year. Demko has been absolutely horrible. So I like Colorado to take care of business, and that's the final game there. On the final, the 15th game, Nick, the second or the last set of 5 games. What do you think here?
Yeah, I did get involved with Dallas minus 1.5. It was a pick 'em minus 110 price. Chicago is starting to slow down a little bit. If it's Mrazek in net, I like it even more rather than if Soderblom's in net. I don't think anything's confirmed in that game.
It is Mrazek, yes.
It is Mrazek. Perfect. I love Mrazek. I love that play even more. Dallas minus 1.5. I think this is one of those games where they can win 4-1. Something along those lines. We're starting to see the regression here for Chicago and things along those lines. So I've been somebody backing Chicago a decent amount this year. This will not be one of those games, though. For Seattle, San Jose, this is, I think, one of the only games I did not bet. I think this is the only game I didn't bet today. I didn't see any value in this game. I don't want to lay that much with Seattle. If I had to pick a side, I'd probably take a nice little juicy plus price tag with San Jose, a team that I've hit some decent plus monies with this season, but not interested in that game. Ottawa, Vancouver, I actually kind of had this game closer than people may think. I had this game at around a 3.29 to 2.97. I took a stab with the team total over 3.5, with our team total over 2.5 with the Ottawa Senators. I like that we got a 2.5 in this game. I think Ottawa's a live dog in this one as well. Talbot, much to Terry's demise, has actually been a slightly above average goaltender according to my metrics so far this year. He is only given up, I think, 15 goals, and he has like 15.9 expected goals against. So slightly above average, but still above average so far in a very limited sample size. I took a shot with that. I lean over in the game as well. New York and Anaheim. This is one where I feel like New York could win this game. I like fading Anaheim, but this is not a game I'm going to be doing that. I don't trust Anaheim to win this game outright, but they did give me a 2.5 on their team total. And especially if it's going to be Halak, I'm going to go take the team total over 2.5 with Anaheim. I think that was $1.35, $1.40. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'm okay with laying a little bit more juice on 2.5 team totals. That's something I'm willing to pay a little bit more for. So I got team total over 2.5 with the Anaheim Ducks, as well as the full game over. I got 6 at minus 108 yesterday or this morning before this line has moved up because you said it's 6.5 now. It's still a 6 minus 110 on my book, so you can get a 6 on this Rangers game. So that is available out there for people who do want the over. So I did play the over in that game. And then Vancouver, Colorado, this is a continuation of the fate of Thatcher Demko, somebody I was really high heading into the season with, and he has made me look like an idiot. So I'm on the Avalanche puck line at plus 125, and I got the team total over 3.5 as well. I think that this is a 4-2, 5-2 type of win for Colorado.
All right. Yes, I was looking at BetStamp, but I didn't actually click on the game. It's only plus 6.5 at one book, so there's a lot of sixes available in that one. Dave, final 5 games of the night. We know you like backing Chicago and you like backing Dallas. How are you going to tackle that in these 5 games?
Yeah, I said today sucked, and it does because the prices are bad and all of my angles aren't bettable. So I will fall back. I always have some bet when the Wild are there. I at least have that, and I have my other under. But and this is the thing: Chicago is a minus, or the team that's favored over Chicago is minus 300 or above. Problem is, there is 1 or 2 teams I'm not going to do it, and that's the Stars. They're hot. They score a lot of points. I wanted to back them on a team total over. The odds suck. Anything that's decent, you have to get up to 4. Actually, in this slot, there are 3 teams that I love to back the team total overs: Dallas, Colorado, and VGK. And they're all, if we have to hit 4s, the 3.5, I forget which ones they are. They all kind of look the same, but 2 of them at 3.5 is like minus 140, just out of my range. Then I started looking at some of the dog team totals, and they just stink. So there just wasn't anything here. I mean, gun to my head, I'd take one of those teams at 4 goals. But there's other things to bet tomorrow. Especially, we're talking about tomorrow's games or today's games? Today's games.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of it. There's stuff to bet every day besides hockey, and so I'm not going to force a hockey. I mean, fucking college basketball has a bajillion games going, and I'm way better at that. So I'm a little, as you can tell, I'm a little peeved because there are a lot of my teams that I like betting in all of these angles, and I can't do it because the prices suck. So nothing for me. It's a long way of saying no.
Will, final 5 games. What do you think?
Yeah, Dave just gave me an idea. I might be hitting those 3 teams over 2.5 as a parlay, but I haven't checked the price.
Yeah, if I parlay, that would be fantastic, but I don't. So
I mean, I have all those teams above 3.5 goals, so I don't hate it. Anyways, Dallas Blackhawks. I'm on Dallas minus 1.5. I got it minus 105 yesterday. Honestly, the model likes it, but the reason I made the play is I saw that they played the Sharks the other day at home, and it closed plus 105. And if you think the Blackhawks right now, with the way they're playing, are only 10 cents worse than the Sharks, that's crazy. So I grabbed minus 105, and now you're seeing minus 115s out there. San Jose, Seattle, I have that as a perfect line. I would have liked Seattle minus 125 or whatever it was at open on some books, but it wasn't there for long. And minus 150s, I wouldn't take it. Ottawa, Vegas, I wouldn't take it, but long road trip, I like the spot for the Golden Knights if you were to play anything, and maybe an over. Lots of goals are, like I said, a Vegas team total over. Rangers, Ducks, I'm playing the Rangers in regulation, minus 104. I think there's going to be some overreaction, or there was overreaction to the lock plane, and the Ducks just honestly haven't been winning, and they haven't been playing that well. I have them projected for about 2.4 goals. So I just don't see how they're going to put the puck in the back of the net. And I took the Rangers regulation minus 104. Canucks, Avalanche, I don't have anything for that game. I have the line at minus 200. I think the Avalanche are going to win pretty handily.
All right. BetStamp, use code WILD in the referral code section. Download BetStamp. Great for finding different odds for the different games at different books. Do your line shopping. It really matters. And man, it makes you able to win more money for the same bet than you normally would. So use code WILD in the referral code section. Other picks. NBA is the only other sport that I am on today. I've been looking at Philly plus 5 all day. I get it, they're on a back-to-back, but should the Charlotte Hornets be minus 5 points against anybody, let alone Philly, who I think is not one of the best teams? But
is Melo Ball back? I don't think he's back, right?
No, I don't think so. And I think Embiid is still out, but I'm not sure on that either. But Philly, I think Philly +5 has a ton of value because I think if Charlotte does win this game, I think it's by a couple points. But Charlotte hasn't been winning games all year. I think there's value with Philly. But I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because they're that price for a reason. So I didn't pull the trigger on it.
Miller Ball's ruled out.
All right. Minnesota, Indianapolis. I am taking Indiana. I'm taking Indiana Pacers. Yes, they have been beating bad teams, and the Timberwolves are winning right now. But I like Indiana. They've made me some money. They're a team I like to back lately, so I am taking them. Brooklyn, Toronto. I was looking at taking Toronto, but I do not like the injuries they have currently. They are a very good home team. I want to take them. Brooklyn on a second night of a back-to-back, but I don't like the injuries for Toronto. Dallas and Boston. I am on Boston. I like the Celtics. If you've been backing Boston this year, you've been winning because that's basically all they've done for most of the season. They are coming off a loss, final game of their road trip, now at home against Dallas. I like Boston. The other game I was looking at is the Clippers +10 against Golden State. Yes, Golden State is a awful road team, a much better home team. Clippers are playing well, though, and I just could see a situation where they keep this within less than 10 points. So I'm looking at Clippers +10. Haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I may very well end up pulling the trigger on it. Nick, other picks, other sports, whatever you want to give out, the floor is yours. You're muted.
Weird. All right. Yeah, I have 4 plays in the NBA. I have Philadelphia +4.5. I just don't think my number said that Charlotte shouldn't be laying anything in this game. Even with Embiid out, you can mark that around a pick 'em. So I see value with Philadelphia here, even on a second half of a back-to-back. I just don't trust Charlotte defensively to lay points, and Philly can stay in games, and they should be able to stay in this game, even missing a few players. So I got to the Sixers. I'm also on Toronto, -140 on the money line. I just bypassed the 2.5 points. I'll do that in basketball where I don't like laying the 2.5 points because free throws, bullshit, last second. I don't need to deal with that. Just win me the damn game, and that's all I need to do. So Raptors, money line for me there. I got to the Denver OKC under 232.5. My number suggested this should be more like 226.5. So I do think this total was a little bit high for the Nuggets and the Thunder. So I took under 232.5 in that game. And I am siding with one of the plays you were talking about there. I took +9 with the Clippers, and you said it went up point. For me, Golden State's been a fade team. My power rankings have them very low. So I do think that this Golden State team, they won the championship last year. Betting wise, they're overrated this year. So I've been cashing a lot of tickets against the Warriors this year, especially on the road. Granted, this one's at home. I took 9 with the Clippers. I think this line should have been more like a 4. So I saw value with that line there. So that is all I've got. And then I don't know what time this game is tomorrow, but I have a strategy in betting the FIFA World Cup as I'm taking the United States and I'm betting against them every single game. So I am on England. I'm going to be betting England. I think it's -1, -105, something along those lines. Disclaimer, I don't know shit about soccer. So don't take this with a grain of salt. But all I know is I've seen multiple posts by multiple people who work for sports books saying that the United States is the largest liability they have out of anything recently for the FIFA World Cup. There's tons of liability on them, 100-1 to win the World Cup, to win their group. They get a lot of action because America, they only care about soccer once out of every 4 years. And especially with the United States in the World Cup right now, everybody's squad betting the United States money lines. So I'm going to look to fade those. So give me England tomorrow on the World Cup.
All right. Dave, other picks that you might want to give out? Feel free.
Yeah, I got some of those, but I'll talk about that real quick. I do the same thing that I did in 2010. 2010 was the last World Cup where the U.S. and England were in the same group. And I went to a bar, and it was obviously in the United States, and everyone had Then it was Landon Donovan was the big guy. And I had a Wayne Rooney on. The 3 Lions, I got to say, is God Save the Queen. That's the team that I don't have a future. I hope they win the World Cup. They had a good shot last time. Croatia played them real hard. This is the best England soccer has been since they won it back like in the 60s, the past 4 to 6 years. And you're right. U.S. has like one dude, Pulisic, and the rest of the team. It's like girls JV versus varsity men's. That's what we are to the rest of the world. I love international soccer. I don't know a ton about betting it. I follow some really good. If you guys want to DM me on Twitter, I probably have the best soccer handicapper in the world that I follow and I'm friends with. Wanted to get her on my show, but now she's tied down to doing shows with someone else in an agreement. So, anyways, love World Cup soccer. Other picks, 5 words. Let's see if I can say this. The University of Indiana, Purdue, University, Indianapolis. IUPUI, also known as Ooey Pooey. When you see them and Nick's frozen, you think under. And Denver looks like an under team this year. They were an over team in conference last year. I got it at 134. It's at 130 now, so there's no line value at all. Hope you got it early. Next time when the lines come out, blind bet Ooey Pooey in the under. And what's the other bet? Oh, Jonas Valanciunas. Is it Valanciunas? I think it is with all those stupid tildes and stuff over his name. But anyways, Valanciunas, I have his points, rebounds, and assists, 22.5. I like the over. The Spurs are the worst team in the NBA at points in the paint. And Valanciunas has hit that number, I think, 3 of the last 5 games. Anyways, he's perfectly capable. I love that prop bet. And then the only other bet I have is the Wild Jets under. So, and I'll be betting all that stuff. So
yeah, and I would like to mention something that he mentioned with IUPUI. They do play the Privateers of New Orleans tomorrow. The Lions at 139. Go grab that now before it's at 134.5 tomorrow.
Drop 5 points easy. It dropped 4 overnight.
I just bet the under 139 in an IUPUI game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Will, other picks? What do you think?
Yeah, just 2 games I want to focus on tomorrow. The first one I'm with Nick, today. The Clippers plus 10. I do want to wait for injury news and make sure that Kawhi and Paul George are playing. But I have this game closer to a pick'em this year. The one big thing, the difference between these 2 teams, I have Golden State Warriors projected expected points closer to 235, and I have the Clippers at like 210 this year. So it's just 2 different types of basketball that are going to be played tonight. And I'm really intrigued to see which one wins and if the model's correct about it. And the other game would be the Kings plus 5 at win or plus 4.5 if you have to bet that. I had the Kings plus 1.5 last night. And I had a little bit on the plus 100 money line. This team is underrated. In my opinion, I have them as about a -3 favorite today, as long as no surprise injuries. So I'm riding the Kings plus money Kings plus 4.5 and Clippers plus 10, as long as no injuries.
Hey, Terry, by the way, a first happened in the history probably in the annals of time, right? On your show, this show, someone in a cowboy hat saying, God save the Queen.
Yeah.
That's probably never happened.
Awesome.
And she was your queen too.
Will Kawhi Leonard is out. Kawhi Leonard is out.
I thought we already knew that.
No. You just said if he was looking to see if he was in or not, but he is out.
Oh.
You're muted.
We probably already knew that, so I'd now be waiting to see if Paul George is out, because then I could kind of understand the 10-point spread. But if Paul George is in tonight, I definitely don't understand.
All right. And that is pretty much the show. I will give out my 6-team parlay. So this is obviously degenerate action, but it is my parlay of the day. New Jersey, money line. Boston, plus 1.5. St. Louis, money line. Seattle, money line. Vegas, money line. Colorado, money line, plus 1266. This will be what I will be watching for the night, hoping to cash the 6-teamer. But obviously, bet responsibly. Bet responsibly.
Bet responsibly. Don't do 16 parlays.
Yeah. Oh,
No, bet how you want, and if that cashes, then definitely bet six.
do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I also have a 5-game parlay, so I'll throw that out here too. But it's a player point parlay, which I didn't have time to type up, so I will quickly give it out. Cole Caulfield from Montreal over 0.5 point. Jack Hughes from New Jersey over 0.5 point. Patrice Bergeron from Boston over 0.5 point. Rope Hintz from Dallas over 0.5 point. And Jack Eichel from the Vegas Golden Knights over 0.5 point. Plus 571 for those 5 players all to get a point. So that is my parlay action for the day. IceX in his World Cup colors, who I am also cheering for Germany as well. Trent is on Devils and Avs. Good luck. Well,
who gives a shit?
Well, he is the fade god, so that does make.
How did one of the worst cappers ever become this popular? I mean, he's awful and he's bad for sports betting. It's just my opinion.
Well, he's so popular because you can make money fading him.
Well, he got lucky the reverse way. Like he suddenly was putting out picks and they were losing forever, and then he had the genius idea of making that his, saying I anyway.
I feel you. But even though he does lose a lot, he still does win bets. So fingers crossed. That's for today. But best of luck on everyone's bets today. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. We'll be back with other free pick videos as well. Dave, your show is still going on tonight?
Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, the holidays is we're just going to be a short show. See, I'm going to be here probably instead of at my place, because at my place my family came and fucking took over. But we're gonna I'm gonna go over there and see them come back, and we're gonna do hockey for 30 minutes, and then football, and then that's it. And then Friday is the new show, The Nerd and the Turd.
All right, there you go. Make sure to follow everybody here on the panel, everyone in the description below. Best of luck on your bets tonight, and happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. And we'll see you for other episodes of Getting Well with Jerry and Friends at sporadic times, sporadic days. There'll always be content on the channel, so make sure to stay tuned.
Are you going to TikTok?
Are
you going to TikTok?
No, I don't do TikTok.
No, we should we should talk about it. That'd be a good idea for all of us to do, because I don't want to do it by myself, but I'll contribute to it.
There we go. That could be interesting. But best of luck on your bets tonight, guys. Let's all make some money. Have a good one.